All right, well, first things first, appreciate you for making the time to do this again.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
It's been a long time since we first did this one, back in my parents' living room. It feels like forever ago. I guess the first question I wanted to ask you, though, is, what are some things that have changed as, not just you as an artist, but you as a person since that recording that we did back in 2019?
Man, dude, like I feel like a lot's changed, man. I think I'm a whole different person from who I was then than who I am now. I feel like I've lived through a lot. I've seen a lot. My whole life probably did like a whole 180 since then. I've seen the fruits of therapy. I've seen the fruits of being consistent in your faith. I've seen the fruits of just really being present and really understanding what that means and loving wholeheartedly and serving. I think that's the biggest thing for me is like serving other people and being selfless, you know? I think that a lot of who I was as an artist at the time was extremely selfish and not willing to go above and beyond my community, above and beyond the people that were serving me at the time. So yeah, man, I would honestly say that a lot's changed, but all for the best, you know, all for the best.
Do you think there was like one particular event that sparked that change, or was it just kind of an accumulation of many different things?
Yeah. So if you're really close to me, you knew that I was like in a really long-term relationship, and I ended that long-term relationship. And shortly after that, I decided to make small changes because when you leave something like that, you have no choice but to sit with yourself. You know, you sit with yourself. You sit with your thoughts, your ideas, and everything that's to come with that. And after further reflection, you know, you look at yourself differently when you start to realize all of your bad habits, your toxic traits, everything that you did wrong, and you just step differently. You know, you learn to understand that like I have my issues. Like these are my problems that I have to fix, because these things don't make me a good person, and they're restricting me from growing, and they're restricting me from being the person that I really, really want to be in my life, you know? Everything that I wanted to be in life required a sacrifice. And that sacrifice was who I was at the time, you know? And I don't think people understand that. Like we all want something, we all want to be something, but that something requires a sacrifice. And sometimes it actually requires us to completely give up who we think we are, you know, who we want to be. And I think that like I'm at such a peace with it now because I've found myself to really understand that it's all the fruits of life, everything that's good that comes out of doing life and doing life the right way is in being at service of others and not to be at service to yourself. You know, you want more peace, give yourself up. You know, go out of your way, do something for people, and just watch how much peace that gives you. You want to be noticed, you want to be seen, you want to be loved. Do that, but don't do that in a way where it's like yelling, "Everyone come look at me," but more so, what can I do for you? What can I do to take care of you? And then everything else kind of flows after, you know, not immediately, but with time and with practice and with constant gratitude and knowing who you are as an individual. I think with time you start to really be at peace with yourself, you know?
Appreciate you for sharing that, because I do remember your song Table for One. I don't know how or when you wrote that, but I felt like it released maybe a year or two after that you ended things with that person. And I remember kind of hearing some of the pain, but also some of like the shift. It feels like the maturity and just kind of like the things that you wanted to do and how you were moving differently in that song. And, you know, it was a pretty inspirational song for myself too, because I felt like this was earlier for me, but in 2020, like shortly after I had met you, I broke up with the person that I thought I was going to spend a very long time with. I didn't think we only spent like maybe 2 years together, but still, like at that time, I was like, this person's, you know, my person. And I think right after, I probably went the opposite way. So when I heard your music, that song, it kind of inspired me, like, well, what have I done since then? It made me reflect on like what I had done since then. And I wasn't really proud of it. You know, I wasn't really proud of it because I had told this person, hey, I feel like I'm on a different wavelength and these are the things I want to do. And I actually looked back and like, how much of it did I actually do? Well, not that much, because I kept getting distracted, or I kept chasing X, Y, and Z, just falling into different temptations. And so, you know, I did want to like ask you about that song, Table for One, just because it was so inspirational to me. But I, you know, I'm sure other listeners really enjoy that one as well. But I guess, how uncomfortable, or was you comfortable kind of sharing all that stuff in that song like that?
Yeah, I think that in this process of learning who I am and learning who I was growing to be and who I am now, is that vulnerability is actually a superpower that we have. We're scared of vulnerability because we're too concerned about how we're going to be perceived. A lot of the times we don't realize by simply sharing your pain, it's allowing you to be seen by others. And that's where that being seen part comes in, right? When you share your vulnerability, now I'm not saying to share your vulnerability with everybody and be in a complete open book, but to me, my outlet's music. You know, my outlet's art, actually. I wouldn't even say that it's just strictly music. But at that time when I was writing that song, I knew that there was power behind that song, and there's power behind my vulnerability, because I understood that I wasn't the only one that went through that. I'm not the only person that's living through this. I'm not the only person that's living through a breakup. You know, I'm not the only person that's been through a toxic relationship, you know? So with that, I wanted to apply it to a song, and I had countless and countless amounts of just poetry on poetry on poetry, because I'm not the type of artist to like sit in a studio, listen to a beat and say, okay, this is what this is going to be about. But more so, I write poetry, and I have endless amounts of poetry. And with that, I just go, okay, well, I break apart different pieces, and I just apply it. And then I said, oh, okay, this sounds good to this beat, you know? And then I just go about doing it like that. So for me, Table for One just really stemmed from a very vulnerable place. And it stemmed from me just feeling like I needed to get all my emotions out. And because of that, I've been able to understand, understand more of myself, understand more of that. The more that I'm vulnerable, the more people listen. You know, and for the good and the worst, you know, you have people that are just nosy,
right?
That just want to know, like, what the fuck was that about, you know? But I think that there was a very, very, very deep stuff in there. And I feel like oftentimes when people go back to re-listen to it, they catch certain things. They're like, wait, I didn't catch that the last time I heard it. I didn't catch the last time I said that, you know? So yeah, man, there's a lot of cool stuff in there, but I'm extremely, extremely inspired by the things that I live through and my poetry and just art in general. So yeah.
Before these events took place, before that song, and obviously before you ended things, did you not feel comfortable to be vulnerable on music like that in that capacity?
Yeah, man. No, like I lived in ego for such a long time. That's the way that I see myself. When I look back at like old pictures of myself, I kind of cringe a little bit because I would just say like, man, like I wanted to fit in so bad. That's just what I wanted. I just wanted to be seen. I wanted someone to pay attention to me. And while I don't want to say my whole identity was wrapped in just that, because I was still talented and I was still kind of like in my faith and kind of doing that, but I wasn't taking myself serious. And even now as an artist, like I don't take myself serious. I don't think artists should take themselves serious.
Yeah.
I think that when you actually blow up, right, quote unquote blow up, that's when you start being like, oh wait, I was just kind of joking.
Yeah.
You know, when you look back at like Lil Yachty, when you look back at Tyler the Creator, when you look back at any kind of artist, their fundamentals aren't in blowing up. Their fundamentals are in appreciating the art and really having fun. Like that's where it stems from. And then sooner or later, you're just kind of like stuck in this rhythm of creating that you kind of naturally just become consistent. You naturally understand that, oh, this feeds my soul. And you go from that, you know, you step into that and you step into it fully, and you're completely aware that you're doing this and it's not necessarily for yourself. Like, you come second, but the art comes first, and then you feed people with that, you know? So there's a beauty in that. There's a beauty in creating, because there's people that actually want to listen. I don't have thousands and thousands of listeners, but I have listeners that listen actively. And to me, if I can just feed 5 people with my music, I don't care what that listener count looks like. I'm always going to just want to be like, you know, I'll feed my 5. I'll feed Noah. I'll feed Ronnie. I'll feed so-and-so, you know, like, I'm going to keep feeding these people that want to listen and listen actively, because to me, that costs so much more than me paying for promotion and having this kid from Santa Ana that's just gonna say, well, that was lame, and then keep scrolling. But hey, at least I got to listen, bro. Like, you know, like, I'm not built like that. Like, I'm very intentional with how I create, and I'm very intentional with what I make at that. So sometimes, man, I won't release music for like months on end.
Yeah.
You know, it's not till I feel like I have something to say that I'm like, oh, I can release this. But even once upon releasing it, the only intention is in the art aspect of it. It's not in the marketing. It's not in, I don't treat my music like a business. I treat my music as art. I treat it as like, this is just what I made. And I'm gonna leave it up for whoever wants to listen to it.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
That's beautiful. And as you were describing that process, just making it for these handful of people, I feel like, you know, we did the Fundamental 5 before recording this. You mentioned MF Doom, right, as your biggest inspiration.
Right.
And I feel like that's something he did. You know, he didn't make it for the masses. I think it's kind of interesting now how he has gained a lot of popularity, especially in like people your brother's age, you know, in the younger generation. But I don't think he ever kind of tailored anything. He just kind of made music and was like, here you go.
Yeah.
And it kind of eventually, you know, found more ears, you know?
Right. Yeah. And that's because, I think that's just because he's like a novelty now. You know, he's something that people want to like. It's not just MF Doom. It's not just the rap.
Right.
It's the samples. It's the cuts. It's his wordplay. It's how he mixed art all in one. When you were to pick up, sorry.
No, you're good.
Let me see if I got. Oh,
He has something good.
I got this Sade MF Doom joint. But notice how there's no face, bro. There's no face to it. I don't got any other MF Doom records, but there's no face. This doesn't say scream. This doesn't scream. Look this is MF Doom and this is my face and it boosts ego or anything like that. This is actually it's not a real like tape. This is like made by a DJ, but still.
Okay.
Regardless of the fact, you know this is MF Doom by what?
The Mask.
The Mask.
Right.
He went by The Mask. You know how many times, and a lot of, I'm about to start rambling.
Go ahead.
You know how many times this man performed and it wasn't him?
Yeah.
It was just The Mask. And there was a guy lip syncing. And this whole idea was, I'm MF the supervillain. He didn't care about who showed up. He didn't care about the fans that paid.
Right.
To him, it was just like, you're here for the music regardless. So
Right.
it's going to play. But the amount of times that he did that, you know? And then you have, like, I think I just pride myself on listening to artists that really just make intentional music, because that's what's beautiful. You know, it's beautiful to know, or I like to know that Tyler listens to these artists, or like, for me, it's when I'm listening to this Tyler the Creator interview and he's talking about the music he was brought up on, and he's naming lists of artists that I feel like I should know about, and I know absolutely none of them.
Okay.
But that allows me to, like, he's not gatekeeping any of that.
Right.
He's just saying, hey, bro, like, I listen to so-and-so, 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 and I listen to them not because of what they're singing about, but there's just one piece of the song and the break and the way, I just was so inspired by maybe the chorus, maybe the way the layers were the vocals were layered. You know, like, that stuff to me that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You know, all the other stuff that comes second. You know, the fame, the fortune, everything that's to come with being a quote unquote artist, like that comes second, bro. You know, I would even say third. Like that comes third. To me, the way that I view it is create your art, serve the people that listen to your art, and then after that, you get the blessings, you get the benefits, you get everything else. You know, and music, the really cool thing about art and music is that it's not a you get what you give kind of situation. You know, art is you're feeding somebody else. So there's going to be a lot of times that you're going to work on this project that you did for years, and you hear it a lot, right? You hear these artists, I dropped this album, da, 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 and it's not getting the feedback that I wanted because it's not about you, bro.
Right.
It's not about you. It was never about you. And when we as artists begin to understand that it's not about us, and God has blessed us with this gift of creating, you understand that it's not about you. You begin to dissect things, and you begin to say, "Oh, it was never about what it could do for me,
Yeah.
but what I could do for others and how I could serve people through my art." You know, when you look at how many artists you know, how many painters you know that died, and then everything blew up.
Right. Yeah.
Because it started serving others.
Yeah.
It made an impact. I'll be honest, I didn't listen to Nipsey. I listened to Nipsey after he died because I understood something about what he did. And I'm like, bro, this guy really left an impact.
His impact on the community, right, and some of the culture, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But what was Nipsey really known for?
You mean like music-wise?
Like music, why? What did he die? Why is Nipsey considered a legend?
He always preached like buy back the block, right?
Right.
You know, keeping the money in the community,
right,
and trying to build up your community versus leaving it and shitting on it and continuing to tear it down.
And serving, and who killed him? His community.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Like people that understand how to serve are the people that make the best impact. Kobe Bryant left us nothing but game.
Yeah.
Nothing but game. You know, like
Yeah.
all of the greats understand that it's not about them and their selfish needs, but to be selfless and to be serving others. So I think that's the beautiful thing about art. You know. Sorry, I told you I was going to rant.
I want that though, and that's why that's why I just love our conversations, whether it's for the podcast or even outside off the air. You were mentioning different artists, right? You like to watch Tyler the Creator interviews. MF Doom we've mentioned too. Are there anybody else that kind of you feel like really inspired you, not just as an artist but as a person?
Oh man, you know, if you knew me, you knew I was on a Larry June kick for like.
You've been on Larry June for like 5, 6, probably even longer.
I've been on Larry June since like 2019, I want to say. But I'll give credits to Pre though, because Pre was on Larry June like back in like 2000. Dude, I want to say like 2014 maybe.
Dang, okay.
15. He was on Larry June super early. But yeah, bro, like I think that Larry June really helped me understand like hustle and what it means to not only be healthy, but what it is to be healthy for yourself, be healthy for your community, be healthy for the people around you. There's a lot of beauty in his music, and even now I love the artist that he's become. And he just got flavor, you know. You just like there's certain people that there's sauce, bro.
Yeah.
Like I think this year I really understood the meaning of sauce.
Yeah.
Like you see Ronnie step into a room, and Ronnie's special because Ronnie has like sauce to him.
His swagger.
There's something about the way that he like walks into a room and the way that he dresses. Like me and my boy Andy, we've always clowned him on his style. But it's just because we just know we would never be able to pull something off like that.
Right.
Like we would never wear that. You know? Yeah. It looks funky, but he can pull it off because that's his character.
Yeah.
And that's that sauce. You know, like I think that everyone has their own sauce. And once you learn how to dabble in that sauce, once you learn how to like really like make stuff, you know. Right now, like I'm in the market for a vehicle. I'm in the market for a new car, and I'm sharing with my boys all the cars that I want. And Ronnie kind of mentioned that I really like this GR Corolla. I really like this GR Corolla. I like how it's made. I like that it's like efficient on gas. I think it looks cool. But Ronnie made a really good point. Ronnie was like, yeah, but I don't think that's you. Like, that's cool that you want that, but I don't think that's you.
Yeah.
And I kind of sat with that for a little bit, and I was like, I'm like, yeah. maybe he's right. Maybe that really isn't me, you know?
Yeah.
And then he emphasized, he's like, I think that you bring some type of like mellow luxury kind of vibe to you, and like I think that you should stick with that same idea, you know. So I had my Jeep, I had my Lexus, and now I'm kind of like in this space where I'm just like, I don't really know what I want, but I'm open to it, you know. So yeah, I think that everyone's got their own sauce to them.
Yeah. That was one thing too. I felt like I kind of realized about myself because last summer I bought a car, the Volkswagen that I have.
Right.
And for forever, I still have the Mustang, right? But I'm not driving it every day. But that felt me, you know. Like I love that Mustang from the '99 to '04 models. So when I was looking for different cars, you know, I was thinking, like, yeah, I have a son. I want something to fit the car seat, be practical on gas, etc., etc. But I didn't want just a standard Corolla or Civic. And nothing against those cars, but it just wasn't something I was looking for. And so when I was looking at these different hatches, I ended up, you know, purchasing the Volkswagen. But it was just kind of one of those things, like, where I was looking up even like the wagons. I don't know if you are familiar with, like, Acura made a really nice wagon. Volkswagen had some different wagons. Lexus made some wagons. And I was kind of just looking at these different things, and I felt like I was making it harder for myself. Like I feel like if I had simpler taste, I'm not trying to say I have exquisite taste either by any means, right? But if I just had a more simpler taste, I think I could have bought a car way quicker than I did. You know what I mean? But I was searching for like 2 months, like, can I find a good deal on this wagon? If not, a hatchback, or, you know, I was looking for these different models and stuff like that. And I was just like, man, like I'm stressing myself out, you know, because I want things to be a little different. But like you said, that's a sauce. And like,
Of course.
I feel like I'm pleased with my purchase now, and I'm glad I didn't, you know, just try and take the first option that was quick.
Yeah,
know?
and you got something super cool too, because your car's diesel. So that's like, that's so unique. And that's so different. But I love hatches, and I love how hatches look. I love that we're all kind of like in a space where, like, there's an obvious shift, you know, when people talk about like the universe and they talk about what's going on in today's times, and I can agree to it with a certain extent, but I understand that there's an obvious shift that's happened in the world, and I don't know if it's just because of our age group or what it may be, but it seems like everyone's kind of going through the same thing to a certain extent. You know, everyone's kind of like either going through a breakup, found someone new and is living in that, or is currently living through their like fitness era and is making a change. But we all kind of understand that there's this common denominator of mindfulness.
Yeah.
Like we're all beginning to be very mindful, and I think that it's because we're getting older, and our like the front of our brain has fully developed.
Yes.
You know, so we're all kind of like, everything's clicking for us. You know, for me, it's like, oh wow, I never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to be seen. Like,
yeah.
You know,
Ooh.
or like I never wanted to be famous. Fame gets me like too much going on gives me anxiety. Like I just actually don't want that. I long for peace more, you know? And I think we're all starting to figure ourselves out. We're all starting to understand that, we got things we got to do, you know?
Yeah.
Got families I want to provide for. My number one thing has always been like, I never want to be like I think I came to I had an epiphany. I was like, my only goal in life was to ever be just a good father, be a good brother, be a good friend. That's all I want to be. I just want to be a good person.
Yeah.
And good person to others too, you know, like not just my inner circle, but what about that person that I come across, that person that stumbles upon me, you know, all that stuff. I think that it matters a lot.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You mentioned brother, your younger brother is also making music, if you don't mind sharing.
Of course.
What's that seeing like from an older brother lens? Because I forget how many years it is, but there's a significant age gap between you two, right?
Yeah. I think that's a good 8-9 year gap between us. No, 10 years. Damn, 10 years. Man, dude, like that kid's so awesome. He's an amazing human being. He has an amazing heart, and you know, things come full circle. You know, Frances, my older sister, she didn't lend me her room, but she lended me her room, for a lack of terms. She'd always be hounding me about leaving stuff in her room, because I would jump in on like those like summer breaks when she would be at work. I'd be jumping into her Big Mac desktop, and I'd be recording off the monitor's microphone.
Yeah.
And I would just constantly be making music in her studio. And then when Marley was like in his like early teens, he actually started hanging out with me, and I kind of wanted to be a little bit more intentional in how I poured into him, because me and Marley didn't really have a good relationship with him growing up as a kid. Because I was just all about myself. I was all about, and then I got to a point where I was like, man, I'm an older brother. Like, I should be setting the example, being a role model. So I started bringing him with me to all like these things. And then I kind of realized that I was kind of doing the same thing that my cousin Turi was doing to me. And that was like showing me culture. Like, he was showing me things. He was showing me music. He was showing me foods. He was showing me all these things that now I kind of translated over to Marley. And then Marley was now the one, I'd be getting home from work, and Marley's in my room with his socks on the floor, and why is your shirt off? And why are you recording with your shirt off?
Okay. You're good.
Yeah.
Just go behind the camera, okay, sis?
Can I use the restroom?
Yeah, you can use the restroom.
Can we pause?
Yeah, we can pause for
Use
this.
the restroom?
Yeah, let's cheers.
Cheers. Let's do it. Bird, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Bird's getting the AC because we're burning up in this thing.
A little warm. It was freaking humid.
Yeah, Bird's got the grandma couch, and when you spend the night at your grandma's crib, you always wake up sweating.
Yeah.
It gets warm. It's like
It could be in the winter.
cozy.
Yeah, it could be in the winter. You still wake up like with a sweaty neck.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, what the heck?
I'm gonna put the fan speed low. So
That's fine.
That's fine as long as there's some airflow in here.
Yeah, appreciate you.
yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Get your
Yeah, I'm gonna,
get your
Where's,
glass.
where's Alex?
He went to get a donut or a sandwich. He said,
Oh, okay. They got some good sandwiches right there. Or what?
like breakfast sandwiches. Yeah.
Oh, fucking Lynn, she's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah. It's like one of those mom and pop donut shops, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, it's already recorded.
He said women,
Oh, shit, she's on the camera.
All right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Nah, you're good. You're good. All right.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So we were talking about you being an older
Well, wait,
brother.
they're outside.
Yeah.
They're gonna come back in.
Is Tiff coming back in? I think she said she was leaving. Alex said he was gonna go run us to the sandwich shop. We can,
He's gonna come back in though.
but it'll probably be like another 10 minutes, right? We can pause when.
Yeah, it's
5.
It's good.
It's,
It's
I don't wanna.
Yeah, that's out of mine.
Already more.
No, you're
We're
good. Never ruined, bro. This is just part of the flavor, you know.
Yeah, it's part of the sauciness, bro.
It's part of the sauce. I like people
Come on, bro.
coming in and out.
It gives it some
Whoa.
genuine flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love coming in and out too.
So, anyways, we were talking
Like
about
the burger spot though.
Yes. Oh yeah, in and out.
Yeah, I love
The
coming
sauce.
in and out. Yeah,
Yeah.
and their sauce. Yeah, it's good. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
No. You were talking about being a big brother, and I think that's one thing. Kind of as you mentioned, just like us, our generation. I think that's one thing I reflect on a lot. I feel like I was a shitty big brother
Right.
to my sister, but to be fair, there was a 2-year age gap, so I think I was maturing kind of like around the same path that she was, and I didn't really understand what it meant to be a big brother. And so I was just kind of, I didn't do anything like super malicious either, but I just felt like there was just that constant little teasing. And so I feel like now as adults, we're in our late 20s, I'm 30, like we don't have a really close relationship. And I'm jealous of other siblings who do have a closer relationship. I'm just like, damn, I have, whether it's my 2 godsons or just, other people that I've met that are significantly younger, like I do kind of crave being that bigger brother, because almost like not for myself, but just to kind of redeem. No, I guess it is maybe a little bit for myself, and going back to the serving, right? But I wish I was a better bigger brother when I was younger, and now I feel like in these opportunities, whether I have a close friend that's younger, I try to be a big brother to them, or with the kids that I coach, or with my godsons. That's one thing I feel like I'm trying to make right on.
Right. Right. Yeah, bro. There's a beauty in there's a beauty in effort. That's what I like to say. I like to think that like, for example, I'll give you an inside scoop of my life right now, and for everybody listening. For me, I've never been the type to do chores around the house. My mom, an amazing mother. She showed us what it was to serve. She showed us what it is to honor people. She showed us everything that woman has done for me growing up to where I'm at now in life is all just honor, honor, honor. serve, you know, up to the point where it can be a little unhealthy. And I think that's the only like downfall of it, is that we forget about ourselves in this space, but being mindful of that is healthy as well. And I think to me, what really stood out to me in this season of life is that, man, I got to do all the things I don't want to do. And that's still honoring.
Yes.
That's still doing the things, you know, like all the uncomfortable things. I didn't realize, bro, until because I'm in a new relationship now. I didn't realize that the cringy stuff, that stuff means a lot.
Yeah.
Sit down with the woman, bro. You see her strengths. Tell her all her strengths. Remind her of who she is. Sit down with your sister. Know her strengths and tell her, you're so amazing. You do X, Y, and Z. Da, 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 da. I promise you. Yeah, it may feel a little weird, may feel a little corny, may feel a little certain way, but bro, when you're not thinking of it in a corny way, it comes off as intentional. It comes off as like, oh wow, like he's really speaking to me. You know, like I do that with everyone in my life. And I think that even now, I went from being in a space at my house where I wasn't doing chores, I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't really caring for anybody. Man, bro, like washing the dishes before I leave the crib, taking out the trash, taking out the dumpsters.
Yeah.
On dumpster day, bringing them back in without anyone telling you.
Right.
Man, bro, no one's gonna tell you anything.
Right.
You know, no one's gonna be like hounding you about anything, or not even. It doesn't even have to be about hounding, but simply just you just took someone else's job off their back.
Right.
Even now, I work at a hospital, and bro, I'll be doing like I just view things differently. You know, I don't view it from a perspective, that's not my job, I'm not going to do that. Bro, if someone's asking me to do something, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll do that for you. Now, I know if someone's taking advantage of me or not, and, you know, like, I'll kindly be like, oh, I'm good, you know, I'll make up a lie, I don't care. I got to go over here, do this real quick. I'm sorry, I can't do that for you right now, because I know what kind of person they are. You know, I think understanding who you're serving goes a long way too, because a lot of people like to mix that up. A lot of people like to be like, oh, well, you're too nice. Well, you get taken advantage of. Well, you won't get taken advantage of if you learn how to study people.
Right.
You learn how to understand people. You know, you pay attention to behaviors. You pay attention to action. You know, if you're always kind of mindlessly kind of doing this, then yeah, bro, of course you're gonna be too nice. But if you know how to like in a really healthy way, set up boundaries for yourself, respect yourself, and know that this person's taking advantage of me right now, I'm gonna be able to just be like, hey bro, I need this. Straightforward. You know, I need X, Y, and Z. Straightforward. You're setting your boundaries up, and you're being healthy. Alex is about to come in.
Okay. Quick little pause.
Sorry, dogs.
No. No need to apologize, bro.
Big sandwich guy.
Hey.
Big sandwich guy?
Big sandwich guy.
Ronnie told you, huh?
Well, is he sandwich guy?
Sandwich man.
Sandwich man.
Sandwich man, I saying.
Sandwich boy.
He's a man, bro. Alright?
Ah, he a man.
He's the man. He's the man.
He's the man. He's the man.
Sorry, guys.
All right.
You're good.
Can we get back?
Yeah, you're chilling.
We're good. Okay.
All right, cool. Do you have anything else? Do you want to continue on that, or just leave it at that?
Yeah, man. I just to go back to your family's thing that you were sharing with me. Bro, be intentional. You know, take some time. Get to make time. Put effort in. When we put effort into relationships, that's us nourishing relationships. And I don't think a lot of us do that nowadays. I think that we live in a culture where we live off of the me monster. You know, we live selfishly. We don't want to be pouring into others. We don't want to be doing this. But little do we know, when we pour into others and we serve others and we honor others, we do these things, it comes right back to us.
Yep.
In a very, very amazing, beautiful way.
Right. And
not in the way that it's self-serving to the ego, but mainly to our spirits and to our souls. And I think that that's what we need. You know, we're quick to complain about how no one's real. You know, everyone got a hidden agenda, man. And you know, like we want to complain about all these things, but we don't understand that it's like that because we've built that culture. That culture is built upon, I gotta go do me. I gotta go do me right now. I gotta go do X, Y, and Z. I gotta take some me time. Yeah, you could take some me time. That's healthy. But to do it to an extent where that's your whole identity is disgusting.
Yeah.
And there's a very thin line between doing that in a very healthy manner and doing that to a point where all you are is this inflated ego of just me, me, me. Well, what can you do for me? It doesn't help that we also live in California.
Right.
You
Southern
know?
California, where it's busy, hustle, bustle. I was just about to say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got people that it's always like their whole identity is a business transaction. You go to LA, you meet artists out in LA, and that's another reason why I don't like care to be in the music industry anymore. Everything's a business transaction.
Yeah.
There's no genuine. It's just what can you do for me and what can I do for you? You got your rare few of people that are like genuine people, but everything's a business transaction. And in life, the only way that we're ever gonna go get ahead is by quote unquote this business transaction. You know, and you have to understand that you got to be good at people, man. And there's things. There's only so much we can do here on Earth, but there's different realms of life. There's different time zones, and this is where I get weird. There's different time zones. There's different realms, and you better believe that there's a higher power that's going to be blessing you when you begin to do things in a selfless way and in a selfless space. And that's the beautiful thing. And I move on that accord. I don't move on the accord of this world and how this world moves, because I'm ultimately at peace at the end of the day. I don't have a hidden agenda. I don't have I don't want people to know that about me because of, I don't move like that. I move in a space and in a way where I'm very intentional, and I want to love on people, and I want people to feel the love that either they never once felt, or the love that I know that I can give and I can pour into other people. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Do you think, and not to get too bigger picture, because at the end of the day we can only kind of focus on ourselves, but I don't know, what does, just to kind of, right, hypothetically, what does society look like if more people thought like that, right? What if more people were selfless? What if more people weren't about me, me, me? What would society look like? Or just, how would some things be maybe better off?
Well, here's the thing. I understand that may never happen.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's why it's...
There's a yin and there's a yang for a reason. That there's things that are placed on certain people's hearts, and there's missions on certain people's hearts to do certain things. There's not to say that someone with the business mentality and that does live on an accord of what can you do for me is wrong, right? Pardon me. Sorry, this wine is super acidic, and it makes me burp up. It's not to say that someone with a business mentality, right, is wrong. There's no right or wrong way to live life. I'm speaking to somebody. This is just the way how I live, and whoever's watching this is gonna get something from this because I'm speaking to them, right? So I don't want to confuse anyone, and I don't want anyone to be like, well, there's no right or wrong way to live life.
Right.
But to me, the way that I see it, that's just how I see it. If everyone moved on that accord, it would be out of function. It would be out of twack. Yeah. There needs to be people with a business mentality that are transactional people that have very limited capacity for emotional relationships, because that may not be how they work, and that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be the person that is moving on a transactional kind of like at a transactional rate, or everything in your life is transactional, and then you sit back and you wonder, why don't I have friends?
Right.
Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? Why don't I have people that actually genuinely care about me? Well, everything's a business transaction, bro. And in business, there's no feelings. You understand that. And I think that when I sit down with Capri, me and Capri have coffee maybe once or twice a month, and we just talk, and we talk about ideas and everything. And one of the things we talked about is, this last time that we had coffee, is separating the emotional. You have your emotional friends, which is me and Capri, your emotional friends, and then you have your business friends. Get your friend, get your buddies that you're gonna be okay with pain. Get your buddies that you're gonna be okay with, bro. Here's a little 200. Like, I need you to do this for me, and be okay with them not showing up to your birthday party. Be okay with them not being there, because at the end of the day, that's a business transaction. You don't, not everything needs to be all in one. You start to begin to separate things, and you begin to value things, but still understand that at the end of the day, there's a concept.
Yeah.
And the concept is to nourish the relationship, honor the relationship. It doesn't matter if it's like my coworkers aren't showing up to my birthday party next week.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's not real, bro. My coworkers aren't showing up, but I still serve them as I serve my mom. I still serve them as I serve my sister. I still sit down with them, and when they're having a bad day, or when I catch them kind of like acting differently, catch them in privacy. You good, bro? Like everything good with you? I
Yeah.
noticed that you kind of did X, Y, and Z. You know?
Right.
And even when they want to dismiss it and not have that full-on conversation, people take mental notes. People love to know that they're seen. People love to know that they're loved, and people love to know that they're cared about. And I think that is important. And that is how you make an impact in people's lives and move accordingly,
Yeah, making them feel seen, making them feel heard.
Right.
That's beautiful. Just kind of backtracking a little bit, because you were talking about how artists are very me-centered. It kind of even reminds me, too, I was thinking of, like, we don't really see that many collectives anymore.
Right.
I remember we kind of grew up when Odd Future was first coming out, the
Yeah.
ASAP Mob, Pro Era, TDE. Like, there was these different collectives. And maybe there are collectives out there, we just don't maybe hear about them as much, or they haven't blown up as the same capacity as those like 4 or 5 did. Even Taylor Gang, and many different more I could list. But I just feel like, I feel like some industries do feel very me-centered. And again, I think it just attributed to probably big cities in general, right? I don't think it's just Los Angeles, but I think anytime you live in a big city, we're all just trying to hustle. Because at the end of the day, too, like most big cities in that areas are kind of like expensive, and things do become transactional. And I think sometimes we lose sight on like other things that are important to us, Yeah.
Yeah, man, I agree. I do like to believe that in we're becoming more of a, everything always comes full circle, right? So I like to believe that in this era of work as a majority, right? I'm not saying that everyone's over Drake, because everyone loves Drake. Everyone still loves Future. Everyone still loves the mainstream artist. But there seems to be a small little pivot in a direction
Yeah.
that a lot of people are starting to take, and that's, man, I really miss analog. I really miss film.
Yep.
I really miss MPCs. That's why
Record players, vinyls,
yeah, everything's going back to analog.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe that there is going to be a moment where we're going to start seeing the groups come back. We will start, man, quote me on this. I just know there's going to be another like trio group of just like, we're going to have another Genuine. We're going to have another Outkast. We're going to have,
Quest.
yes, because there's going to be these groups again, and we're going to see that, and we're going to reminisce, because we're also a culture that loves to live off of nostalgia. We love nostalgia. Ronnie's whole brand is built off nostalgia, So when we look back at those things, we just want to feel again.
Yeah.
Is what we want. We want to feel. We want to know. For me, it's sensory. Like I'm a big sensory guy. I smell things. So when I dap someone up and I get something nice, I always like to compliment people on the way that they smell. Like, oh, man, you smell good, bro. Whatever fragrance you're wearing today smells amazing. Or when you walk into your grandma's house, we all know what our grandma's house smells like.
Yeah.
We all know how our grandparents smell like. We all know what our home smells like. That's why whenever someone passes and we get that whiff, we're like you get rush of emotion, rush of memories. We're doing that still to this day. We're doing that on an aspect of all we're thinking about is just constant memories. We want to live off nostalgia. So everything's going backwards, and we keep going in circles. There has to be someone to break out the cycle, so there's going to be a point in time where there's going to be an R&B group again.
Yeah.
There's going to be a point in time where there's going to be a hip hop group again. There's going to be a point in time where everyone wants to do like vinyl, spin vinyl.
Yeah.
I know that's my that's my shindig right now. Like I love my vinyls. You know, I'm looking. I don't even got a full. I don't even have a sound system, bro. I come to
Yeah.
Ronnie's shop for the sound system. You know, like I'll buy vinyls. I texted Ronnie today. I said, hey, bro, I got some new vinyls that I want to play. I want to listen to. You know, so I'm gonna bring some stuff over. Maybe we could like pop some bottles of wine and kind of like hang out for a little
Yeah.
bit. So
That's
yeah,
what's
man.
up, man.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap things up, I did want to ask you too, what's next for you musically, right? Because I know you do have your artists, and you kind of mentioned it throughout the podcast that it's not necessarily, you're not looking into, you kind of move at your own pace, right? But what is coming up, whether it's this year or the next coming years for you as an artist?
Yeah, artist is like a really big, like it's a big category. And
Creator.
yeah, so I would like to say that I am dabbling in a business that's, I'll soon to announce that. I know I shared it with you last time that we talked. But you know, like right now I'm so infatuated with design, with interior design. I'm infatuated with sound. And just really trying to learn how to like mix my music in with this new venture that I'm trying to dabble in, and do it right, do it with the community, and do it with good intention. I think is my biggest thing. Music's always going to be there. Like I'm always going to be an artist at my core. At my core, I'm always going to write poetry. I'm always going to want to learn more about the craft, learn more about the music. And you know, I have these random like spurts of is spurts the word? I don't know. Random moments of just like inspiration of, oh man, I gotta go write.
Yeah.
Like I gotta go to my room, or I want to listen to a beat, or I'll listen to like a good. For me, it's like a good, like I was on a Madlib kick for a minute, just listening to different Madlib and going through his discography, and getting inspired off of that, and just being like, oh man, I just want to go back to this, and really just sticking with that. I think my identity as an artist is not to be boxed in. I learned that from Mac Miller. That especially in the industry that we're in, and the music industry itself, the music industry loves to box artists in, and we're starting to get to a point where it's like, oh, you're not just this anymore. You know, you look at a Post Malone, and it's just like, oh, you used to be a rapper, but now you're a country artist.
Yeah.
You know, like there's beauty behind that, and there's beauty behind knowing that, like, if anyone's watching this, and you're an artist, you're not just an artist. You're not just let's say they're like a potter, right? Like they love to make things with your
Like
hands.
ceramics.
Yeah, ceramics, right. If you make ceramics, there's probably something else that you haven't indulged in just yet that you're really good at. And you're probably not just good with your hands in ceramics, but you're probably a really good carpenter. You're probably a really good, you just do good with your hands. So think about all the other things that you can do with your hands and apply that to what it is you want to do with your life. You know, apply that to your to the creativity side of you, and just know that you're meant to do so much more, and you're not just meant to be boxed in, but you're meant to build, you're meant to create, you're meant to evolve as an artist too. I think that's another thing that a lot of rappers don't understand, and rappers like to clown other rappers for doing that too.
Right,
bro. Like,
right.
oh, you went from being a rapper to now you want to do podcasting.
Yeah.
Bro, because because he understands that he has a say.
Yeah.
Like, look at Snoop Dogg. No one's clowning Snoop Dogg for doing a whole broadcasting show.
The whole Cooking with Martha Stewart, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But he understands.
Everything.
Yeah, he understands that he's built himself up to do. He's just doing side missions now. You know, and I think that there's something really beautiful in that. And you don't ever need to get to a certain point in time where you're like, I gotta just leave now. You know, I feel that as artists we don't appreciate what it is we create because we don't understand that we're meant for more. You know, we get boxed in and we begin to become really insecure in this space because we're not dabbling in other things. You know, we limit ourselves to what we can create, and that's where we become insecure because our whole mentality is, this is my whole entire identity. You know, when you talk to when you were asking me about like who I was back then and the difference of who I am now, I boxed myself in. I was only a rapper. I can only do rapper stuff. I can only act like a rapper. I can't do the things that interest me because the other things that interest me look really corny.
Yeah.
And they look really cringy.
Unrapper like.
Yeah. And then the people I was hanging around with at the time too, they would clown me because they would get like an inside kind of like scoop on my life. And it was like, why are you watching a 9/11 documentary at 2 o'clock in the morning? And I'm like, I don't know. I really like this stuff. And it's crazy. But, you know, like there's beauty in knowing that, like when I look at Ronnie's whole thing isn't just clothes. I sit down with Ronnie and we talk about, like he puts me on game, like tiki bars. Like what? Like tiki bars. Movies, yeah.
Wine.
Yeah, wine, exactly. And you know, like we go to tiki bars and I've found an appreciation for it because I'm like, oh man, like this is really cool. I can see why he likes this. Because me and Ronnie used to go to Disneyland as kids. You know, like we went to Disneyland and that was our thing, is always going to Disneyland. And then I understood that like, oh, we like this because it immerses us into a space that's no longer California, Orange County, but in a whole different space.
Tiki.
Yeah. And like now I'm in Hawaii, you know? So there's a lot of beauty in that. So sorry, really quick, because I don't want to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But if you're an artist and you're creating things, don't just limit yourself to one thing. Don't limit yourself. Don't allow anyone else to convince you that you're supposed to do it this one way and this one way only, because that's not the right thing. The more diverse you are as an artist, the more relatable you are as an artist. And as artists, we have a duty, and that is to serve and to serve our communities, serve the people that we love, and to put out art that reflects that. So the more diverse you are in whatever it is that you like, if dude, it doesn't matter if you're, how many rappers have you met that is like, oh, I'm a rapper, but I also like horror. And then they're like, horror rap, and then they put it and they make a whole new genre, and now you have a whole grip of people that are just like, horror rap is cool. Think about the first time like a Christian rapper came out and was just like, I want to rap about Jesus, and everyone was like, that's weird and that's whack and that's tacky.
People doing it though.
And now you got people like Lecrae. Now you got big artists, and they're making these deals and they're doing all these crazy things and making a living for themselves, all because they understood one thing, and that is, I'm gonna go outside of myself and not just serve this one thing that's myself, and learn more about other cultures. Let me learn about this, let me learn about that, and let me make it really cool. Action Bronson's a chef.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Action Bronson's dope.
Yeah. You know, like, think about your favorite artist. Is his whole identity wrapped up in just being a rapper? Or is his identity in other things?
Right.
And how can you do that, and how can you replicate that in your own life? So, yeah.
That's beautiful. Beautifully said, man. Obviously, I like to end the episode with a couple quick hitters. Very similar to what we did last time, and I like to see if anything's changed. But if you could be reincarnated to any animal, what would it be?
Oh, man, bro. I think I'm going to go sloth.
Sloth? Okay.
So we're just chilling, bro.
Yeah?
We're on a tree.
You can
Slow
go...
paced. We're kind of cute.
Yeah. Kind of.
You got them long claws.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, that kind of ugly, but... You know, you pick me up, you know, I look adorable. I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to do anything crazy to you, but I'm slow paced.
Yeah.
I'm moving. I'm good. I'm chill.
If you can go to any place in the world, where would it be?
Dude, right now I'm on a Costa Rica kick. I really want to go to Costa Rica so bad.
Central America.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man.
And it's not like crazy expensive out there.
Yeah,
you know?
it's because my girl loves Hawaii and I love Cancun.
Okay.
You know? And then I was like, I got to find a spot for both of us, because I'm like, dude, if you know me, I push the envelope on Cancun on anyone I know.
Yeah.
I'm just constantly like shoving it down someone's throat. You got to go to Cancun. You got to go to Moon Palace. You got to go check this place out, you know? And then like Ronnie's always big on like being like, bro, that's not the only place you could go. You could go to Japan. You could go here. Ronnie's a traveler. I'm a tourist.
Yeah.
But I'm understanding something really cool about that, is that the traveler is very well diverse. So I'm boxing myself in by just going to Cancun.
Right.
So now I'm like, okay, like I think I got to dabble. I think I got to go out of my comfort zone a little bit.
That's beautiful. I hope you do.
Yeah. I'm going to go to Hawaii soon.
Okay.
So I'm going to Hawaii this year. I'm going to go to CDMX again. And then I really want to do Costa Rica, like really bad. Really, really bad.
Yeah, make that happen, bro. Make that happen.
I got to make it happen.
What's your go-to meal right now? What's something that you really enjoy eating?
I love smash burgers right now, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm loving a good hamburger. I go through seasons of just eating a bunch of random different things, but my favorite meal right now is a good hamburger, good fries. I'm gonna name drop.
Okay.
I don't gatekeep.
Okay.
That's my new thing. We're no longer gatekeeping.
Gotcha.
We're being honest
Yeah.
and intentional. So, Nilly's. Nilly's, I think it's Artesia or Cerritos, one of the two. Nilly's is such a good hamburger spot.
Okay.
Pastrami on 10.
Yeah.
Get your burger with pastrami, bro.
Okay. Never had one before.
Dude, he
I'ma try
house
it.
makes his ranch in-house.
Yeah, yeah.
In-house ranch. In-house pickles.
Okay.
Real. Just amazing. If you're Orange County and you want to try something good, go to Nilly's in Artesia Cerritos. Hamburger in downtown Santa Ana, right next to GCS, right behind Stussy. It's like that little corner restaurant. Really good too.
Okay.
Yeah, that thing looks crazy. And of course, support your local Red Robin.
Yeah. Hey, Red Robin.
Robin's
Solid,
where
man.
it's at, bro. Support your local Red
Solid,
Robin.
man. Okay.
Yeah.
2 more questions. And it's okay if you elaborate too, right? But what do you love most about coffee?
Intention. Intention. I love third wave coffee. Third wave coffee. So there's like first wave coffee, second wave coffee, third wave coffee. Third wave coffee is just essentially like specialty coffee. They got it down to so there's this thing called dialing in, and you have to be extremely intentional with the way that you, how much coffee you're putting in, or how much of the bean, because you have to grind the bean, you have to weigh it out, and then you essentially get to a point where you're making coffee and the espresso no longer tastes like people have only had bad espresso. That's why I genuinely believe a lot of people have only had a really bad espresso because they drink espresso, they're like, ugh, like, this is disgusting. Good espresso doesn't do that. You know, it's like a good bottle of wine.
Right.
You know, we all have had bad wine.
Right.
But we've also had a really good wine, and that's the difference. And I'm understanding that it's very, 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 very intentional, from where it's grown to the farmers to the people that are selling it to everything. You know, like everyone wants to just have this idea of coffee being this overall idea of just a vibey coffee shop. And it's not just that. Like, yeah, you can have a vibey coffee shop. That's awesome. But have a vibey coffee shop that's rooted in community. Have a vibey coffee shop that is serving you a good cup of Joe and not just like some whatever kind of like, yeah, I don't know, this is just whatever we got from Amazon and calling it a day, you know?
Okay. Last question. If you can give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, be you, man. Be you. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. It's okay to be you. It's okay. It's okay to be ashamed. It's okay to want to create the music that's not cool. I think I would show him a lot of empathy. I think that I would hug him, and I would let him know that he's seen, let him know that he's cared about, and let him ultimately know that God sees him. And that girl's not for you, bro. Not, yeah, just, you know.
Yeah.
Trust your gut.
Okay.
Trust your gut. Trust that trust that that everything happens for a reason, and not everything is made to be sunshine and what is it? What, sunshine and flowers, or
Sunshine and rainbows?
Sunshine
I've heard
and-
rainbows too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and just be honest, be intentional, and learn how to love less of yourself and more of others.
Gotcha.
Take care of others, and the rest will follow.
Well, again, really appreciate you for being on the podcast.
Yes, sir, bro. I appreciate you.
Shout out to
Thank you
Bird
for
one
having me.
time too for letting us use
100%.
this place at the Sandbox, and we'll catch you guys next time. All right.